What's up, everybody? Can you guys hear me? See me? We good? Can you guys see me and hear me? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up. All right. What's going on, everybody? Hold on a second. This is driving me crazy. I don't know why it does that. All right. Light flickering on me. All right. What's going on, everyone? I just sent the link to Jeb, so he should be joining us in just a little bit here. And we are going to talk to Jeb Jacoby. So for those of you guys who don't know who Jeb is, he is this guy. I'm going to go ahead and just play this video so you guys know, for those of you who don't. But I remember seeing this video the day that it happened and being like, that was really freaking weird. And I wanted to know like what it was all about. Like why did they shut him down? Let me just pull this up real quick. And I'll just go ahead and play it here. And there we go. All right. Let me pull it up. So this one right here.
From probably the third row in the bottom, I saw hit. I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had blood coming from the left side of his neck down his shirts, and he slumped over and he was carried off. Get off me! Get off me!
So yeah, I, like a lot of other people, I feel like want to know, why was he being like forced to not speak? Why were they trying to force him to silence him? And I mean, it looked like they were basically trying to fight him off of that. Like what's that all about? And so I had a follower actually that reached out and said, hey, this guy will speak to you. Are you okay with connecting with him? And so I did. I connected with him. And it's not going to be anything like, I don't think it's going to be anything like Bombshell, but I think that his perspective and what he experienced that day will lead to answers to more of these, to the questions that people have. And at the end of the day, that's really what I'm just trying to do. I'm just trying to, get these people, give them the airtime so that we can hear just straight out of the horse's mouth. Because how many times has this kid been asked, what were you actually talking about? What have you seen? I know there's been a couple interviews out there, but I don't believe he's gotten nearly as much airtime as he should, because I think that it's a pretty, they were very clearly upset about the fact that he was about to talk to the media. And this is right after Charlie was killed too. So it's like, why would you do you're doing too much? Why would you be that adamant about this guy not talking? And so that's what we're going to figure out. And, he's in Utah now, and we're going to have him join and figure out what's going on. But in the meantime, a couple things I want to chat about. First thing is, if you guys caught that last stream, did anybody catch the interview that they did, or the podcast that Artifacts and them did today? Was there any new bombshell information, anything new that nobody's heard of? And by the way, someone sent me a video from some other podcast, like OMG podcast or something. I can't remember what it's called. And they were like, see, you were wrong. He showed a video that's never been seen before. And it was literally a clip from the Charlie Kirk show of him, like a video that has been seen 100,000 times. And even if you haven't seen it, you would have seen it because it was a public podcast episode from the Charlie Kirk show. And yet these people are trying to pretend like it's some kind of new bombshell evidence. For those of you guys that have no clue what I'm talking about right now, I'm talking about that Mitchell guy. It is very, very clear. And by the way, I'm not the only one. I had a couple people reach out to me afterwards that are very large accounts that are also watching him like an absolute hawk, because it's very apparent what this guy's doing. And he's 100% just trying to build a brand by being a whistleblower and being afraid for his safety. What's about to happen is you're actually about to meet somebody who is actually concerned about their life and what these people can do to it. And yes, he is going to put himself out there as he has before, but I just want you to pay attention to his mannerisms and just pay attention to how he goes about things. Because I'm willing to bet that he's not going to want to talk about certain things because of how afraid he is that these people could go after him and his livelihood and his jobs and everything else. Like literally, that is there's a stark contrast there. Okay. And somebody who is afraid for their life or actually afraid for their safety doesn't put themselves on massive podcast platforms. Like it's so, anyway, I did a whole stream on this. Go watch the other stream if you haven't seen it yet. But following up on that, it was really weird because for the next like 48 hours, him and the other guy, whatever his name is, I don't even know what his name is, went on like a relentless defense campaign, posting and reposting and getting people all riled up about the fact that I was calling him out and trying to say that I was trying to play the victim and trying to say like I was attacking them. And now I'm just, now I'm controlled opposition and all the things that someone who doesn't have something to hide wouldn't do. Oh, hang on a second. I'm getting a text from Jeb. 1 second. Hang on a second, guys. Just getting him on here. Why tear down Mitch Manley? What he seemed, dude, I'm not tearing him down because he's like his character. I don't care if he's a cool dude. Like, sure, maybe he is a cool dude. Maybe he's a cool dude to hang out with. The point is, he's obviously grifting off of this whole idea of being a whistleblower and continuing to go on show after show after show and doesn't have any actual information to share with anybody. And you guys, as somebody who wants to know the truth, should be upset about that. And you should be exposing these people, okay? I talked about this a lot yesterday too. This whole idea of sides, there are no sides when it comes to the truth. There is the truth and those that are subverting the truth, okay? And this whole idea that it's Erica versus Candace and Turning Point versus that, like that is a textbook tactic that is used to make you guys choose a side. But the only real battle that's going on, the only versus that's really going on is the truth versus the suppression of the truth. Who is actually going after the truth and who is trying to suppress the truth, or who is making it harder to find the truth? It doesn't matter what side they're on. It doesn't matter. There are no sides, and you guys need to stop choosing sides. That is how we are in this mess in the first place. Okay, so yeah, he might be a cool dude, whatever. I don't care. But from a point of somebody who is clearly being outspoken about this case and continuing to just have conversations like you even said there. You said, oh, it was great. He had a great conversation. No bombshell evidence. He's literally putting himself out there and building a platform on the fact that he is holding bombshell evidence that he can't yet put out. Like, guys, I'm not like, honestly, I don't even know why I need to continue to go with this. If you can't see that he is using you and that you are a useful idiot, if you are buying into his bullcrap, and you're only making it harder to actually get to the truth. And you're also making it harder on the people that are accused of being grifters that aren't actually grifters. I cannot help you. But the point is, he's a grifter. He's actually just trying to build a platform, write a book, and he's using the idea that he worked with Charlie. And by the way, he's already been caught in multiple lies. So I'm not going to talk about this guy anymore. I'm not going to give him any more airtime. But just so you know, there are multiple massive accounts that are watching him like a hawk right now, and it's all going to come out. So I'm just, and I will have the first stream, as I normally do with these kind of things, exposing these people. So when you guys in there in the chat are proven to be wrong and I'm right, don't worry about apologizing. I don't need to hear the apology. I'll just know that you're eating crow. Anyway, without further ado, I do believe that Mr. Jeb is here. And guys, thank you so much also for the super chats. I know what they're called now. and the jewels and all those different things. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the support. It means the world. So let's bring on Jeb here.
Hey, how's it going?
Jeb, what's up, dude? How you doing, man?
Pretty good. You?
Good, man. So why don't you just kind of give everybody a little bit of an intro, who you are, why you were, basically just about you, and then why were you there that day? And and then we'll just kind of go into it.
Okay. Yeah. My name is Jeb. I'm 23 years old. I'm from Massachusetts. I was originally born in Georgia, and then I moved to Massachusetts when I was 2. And I got enrolled in Utah Valley University when I was probably 21. I got enrolled in 2023. And I joined Turning Point in, I believe, 2024. And that was just kind of basically how I got involved. And it was around that time, towards like 2025 was when the whole Charlie Kirk assassination happened. And I had volunteered for Charlie twice, not once, but twice. So once in Salt Lake, and then of course
so you've done multiple. You've done multiple events for him.
Yeah, just 2. So
okay, cool. Okay. Well, dude, first of all, I just want to thank you for being on here. I know, I know it takes a lot of courage, honestly, to do this kind of stuff. I also know that it can probably be annoying, man. Like, I'm sure you have a lot of people that have tried to, reach out and get you to talk with all this going on and stuff. So I just appreciate you actually being willing and trusting me enough and my community to do this the right way.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And dude, that's what we want. I don't want to beat around the bush anymore. Like, we just want to have an honest conversation. I just want to have an honest conversation. I want to know what you saw and what you heard that day out of your own mouth. And also, like, what were you trying to tell the news and the media before you got basically like assaulted?
Attacked. Yeah, no.
I mean, like, it looked like they were trying to freaking take you out. Like, could not have you say whatever you were going to say. And I think that, I don't know, man, ever since then, I'm like, okay, what was this kid like? What was it? So yeah, I'll let you have the floor.
So just to be clear, I wanted to go over a few things. So like, there's been a couple of videos of me that have been circulating around online. One in particular was the video of me talking to Phil Lyman from an angle where he goes, one of his staff members is like 1, 2, 3, getting ready to record me and give my explanation of kind of what I saw. That was my genuine reaction. Like, I was genuinely in shock. Like, no one rehearsed me. No one gave me some pre-headed like trial. Like, Phil Lyman wasn't in on it. Like, that was
I didn't even know that was a thing.
No, because people believe that I was in on this and that I was an actor. Like, Phil Lyman was a coach to me. Baron Coleman, I'm sure you know him, did a like 3-hour segment on the whole thing with Hunter and me. Did like a 15-minute segment where he believed that Phil Lyman had been coaching me somehow. It's episode 75. You can go look it up. But like, there's just been so many like conspiracy theories saying that like, yeah, this kid's on it. Like, he totally knows about it. But no, like, I promise you, it's my genuine reaction.
No, I appreciate you saying that. I mean, dude, it's hard, right? I was just talking about this before you got on. You have to be careful with this because it's a literal information battlefield. And what happens is teams are formed, right? Like, I know Baron. I don't know Baron super well, but I've seen his content stuff, and I think that he, like anybody else, is going to get things wrong, and he's going to get things right. But ultimately, what it comes down to is like, I want people that are watching this to understand there are no teams, there are no sides. Like, I don't care about this person or whatever. At the end of the day, it's the truth versus the suppression of the truth, or the search for the truth, whatever that is, right? And so I'm sure he gets things wrong for sure. It's just interesting because I actually experienced this a little bit. I'm everybody's favorite conspiracy theorist, man. Yeah. But it is interesting how you can see the other side sometimes. So like a while back, anybody that's been following me knows that I've done a couple like humanitarian trips now for flood victims. I did one in North Carolina and Texas and Hawaii. And it was really, really interesting because the one that we did in North Carolina, I was there on the ground, like helping with with, you know, supplies and helping with extraction and helping the people in general, and just like actually part of the ground forces, you know.
Yeah,
And
no,
it
for
was
sure.
crazy watching how actual conspiracy theories did spin up and start to get spun up online. Like, because I'm there and I'm like, okay, wait a second, I know that's not true. Like
Yeah.
so like one example is there was this there was all this information about going, or this theory going around, that the government was flying helicopters into the supply sites and then purposely destroying all the supplies. And I was like, and I knew for a fact that wasn't right, because I knew what happened. It was an inexperienced pilot that came in too hot and just blew everything away. But it wasn't like a coordinated attack or something. But there was legitimately multiple posts that were made over and over and over, accusing the government and FEMA or whatever of like purposely destroying supplies that were brought for victims. So I understand that there is nuance, and I think we've gotten to a place where it's hard for society to see nuance in everything, right?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you bringing that up, and that's great. This is a great way to start. So continue on with the actual interview.
Okay, so like, excuse me. Well, I got there at probably about 9 a.m, and when we got there, they were passing out like the "Prove Me Wrong" T-shirts, the America First like comeback, and so we went and threw on our shirts, and then we came out, and like it was our job to hold up signs and pass out flyers. Like we would go around, and like more and more people started to crowd around. And there were some protesters who had gotten onto the roof exactly where Charlie was going to be. And some police officers came over and like moved him out of the way, because like, we don't want you directly over Charlie's tent. They had essentially where like we were meeting together and we had like lunch, and we went to go get a group picture. But prior to that, I have a friend, I'm not going to name his name, but he came to me and he said, "Hey, I need to talk to you about something." I'm like, "Okay, sure." So we're in the courtyard, right? And we're looking around, like just there's a couple people sitting on benches. And like, obviously, like I'm not going to peddle a conspiracy theory here, but he said to me, "You see that guy over there?" And I said, "Yeah." Like, "What about it?" And he said, "You know, this one kid, he was on Alex Jones. Alex Jones talked about him, that he was allegedly involved in Sandy Hook, and he showed up at every single mass shooting in America. And there was a kid who fit that exact description. He was wearing a purple shirt and he was wearing sunglasses, and he was just sitting over there." And I was like, "Well, should we be worried?" And he's like, "I don't know, maybe you should tell one of your Turning Point friends." I said, "Okay." So I went to one of the Turning Point guys, and I said to him, "Hey, there's this really suspicious guy that's sitting on a bench over there. Like, should we be worried?" And he goes, "Nah, I think we'll be fine. Like, we'll be okay." And then after that, like 20 minutes later, we go down to go take pictures in front of where the booth is. It's behind it. And then we go out to the back, and 2 black GMCs pull up, and Charlie gets out. He walks into UVU, and he's there for probably about 2 minutes. And he comes back out and he gets a picture with all of us. And that was where I stood next to him. I got that famous picture that Fox News put out. And I got that video with him that went viral over social media. And then he goes to his seat and he goes to sit down. And so it was my job to pass out flyers and pass out like different pieces of information, like the papers and stuff like that. Regarding like future events. And so Charlie's giving his like spiel, like he's talking about like the mass shootings, and Hunter comes up and he's like, "Do you know how many mass shootings there have been in America?" And he goes, "Counting or not counting gang violence." And that was when it just happened. Like it sounded, and I described this to you earlier, was that it almost sounded like a log just like snapping, like yeah.
And that's actually okay. So I want to speak on that because you did tell me that earlier. And
Yeah.
This is actually one of the reasons I wanted to have you on here, because that is a description that I have not heard from anybody else.
Yeah.
I have not heard anybody say that it sounded like a log snapping, because I mean, dude, that's not what a 30-06 sounds like. at all.
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean, it's like you can see in different videos that the shot sounds different. So it's like it'll be like a click, it'll be like a snap, it'll be a pop, it'll be like sounds like a log snapping, like yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said that, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on here, because I mean I'm gonna let everybody, like, you know, I'm not gonna tell, for you guys that watch me, you know this, I'm not gonna tell you, you know, what to think or what to believe or whatever. You guys do with this what you will, but I do think that that's an important piece of information that you say. It sounded like you even told me that you compared it to when Captain America breaks the log over his leg in
Snaps it. So
because that it's just an interesting perspective. I haven't heard that from anyone else, and so I think that's really interesting. Someone else just said it sounded like a bigger firecracker, but I think that we also talked a little bit about this, and you know where I stand. I definitely do not believe the official narrative at all in any way, shape, or form.
yeah.
Do I think that there's a lot of possibilities and a lot of nuance with this entire thing? For sure. Absolutely. But do I believe the official narrative? Not even for a single second. And,
Right.
you know, we've talked about this. I think you also know that there's probably a lot more to this story. But anyway, I want to let you finish. So you heard it. It sounded like a log snapping, and then
Yeah, so after that, like obviously like the running, the screaming, like everyone's just panicking. And that I just remember like when that shot went off, like everybody got down, and that single second felt like 10 seconds. Like it just kind of hung in the air. And then people just started screaming and freaking out and running in all directions. I'm like, oh my God, like what's going on? And I immediately called my mom. I'm like, oh my God, like Charlie's been shot. And I just was freaking out. I was just panicking. And after that, I ran upstairs, up the stairs over to the second booth, like the tent that they had. And like people are crying, people are sobbing. They're like, what on earth just happened? I'm like, there's been a shooting. And Phil Lyman was there, and he was with his two representatives. And they're like, what happened? I said, Charlie's been shot. And they're like, did he survive? I'm like, no, there's no way he could have survived, because I saw him go down. I saw the blood on his shirt. I saw him fall out of his seat, and he was gone. Like I knew there was no surviving it. It was, in some ways, the first thought that it immediately made me think of was, I don't know if you've ever seen the Shinzo Abe assassination video, where he was the prime minister of Japan back in, I think it was 2022. He was giving a speech, and he was shot, I think, 3 times in public. And so like that whole thing was recorded. So it immediately, when Charlie got shot, that immediately made me think of that. And it was like when he was up there, his staff was like, hey, can you film a video for us? Because we need to get your reaction. We need to understand like kind of what's going on here. So I give my reaction, and there's this kid that I didn't even know until like way later, like way after this had happened, who had been filming that interaction. So I'm standing here, and the camera is facing on this direction, and some kid had been filming it from this angle right here. So it's the side view. And Phil Lyman's staff does the interview with me. Video gets 9.5 million views on X. And like, then the other video comes out, and people are immediately saying like, oh, this person said 1, 2, 3. This guy's an actor. This guy's in on it. Like this guy clearly knows that like something's up, like he's been trained, or he's been like set up by like Phil Lyman's staff, or like Turning Point's been set up by him. And so after the interview ended, I just explained what I saw, and I just gave my general explanation of like after. And so they're like, okay, like the police officers started clearing everyone out of the area. So we go into UVU, and there's a shopping hall, like there's the shop that they have. And so I'm standing in front of it. They've closed the gates. And while I'm there, there's a reporter that comes, and he's like, hey, like, can I ask you if we can do an interview with you? And I said, yeah, sure. Like, let me explain. And then I asked, like, are we live? And so Barry Coleman touched up on this, and he's like, oh, well, you know, this kid's trying to get clout. Like, he's asking, like, are we live? Well, I didn't know if the guy was filming. I didn't know if he had immediately been set up. That was my genuine reaction. I was like, okay, like, are you actually like filming this? And so he films the video, and I'm explaining how I saw Charlie like slump forward, and then I saw him like fall out of his seat. And so Cooper Brown, who is a member of the leadership and Turning Point group, he comes over and he immediately cuts me off the interview. And this was the most astounding
This is
part.
the guy that people thought was Andrew Colvett, right?
Yeah, this is the guy that they thought was Andrew
like him,
Colvett.
He freaking looks like him. I can see why people would confuse it. Yeah.
So he comes over and he was like, hey, we're not doing this. And then out of nowhere, he starts putting his hands on me. He starts pushing me. He starts shoving me. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, what is this kid doing? Like, why? I'm like, get off me, dude. Like, why are you pushing me? And then more people come in and they're putting their hands on me. I'm like, this is insane. Like, I'm literally just giving my explanation of what happened. And Turning Point had previously spoken to us. They said, like, we don't want anybody speaking to the media because it represents us as an organization. And like
when
previously, so like during that day, they had told us like, hey, like don't talk to any media if they interview you, like don't say anything, like this represents us as an organization.
Hold on, that's interesting because hold on. They prepped you before Charlie was killed. You guys as Turning Point volunteers that you shouldn't talk to the media.
Yep. They told us nobody, no volunteers except approved officials talk to the media.
Why would you talk? Why would a volunteer talk to the media in the first place? What would cause the media to want to talk to a Turning Point volunteer at a Charlie Kirk event? That doesn't make any sense at all. That's actually really weird, dude.
Yeah, because the thing is that I felt the need that I needed to speak out because I had seen this firsthand account of what had happened. I was like, I'm not going to stay silent on this issue. I needed to speak up.
No, I understand, but dude, but hold on, because what you just said is actually like, it doesn't make any sense to me why the organization would prep volunteers and tell them not to speak to the media. Like, it would make sense if they said to, like, you know, Charlie's closest, whatever, like the executives or whatever, and like, hey, don't say anything to media, let Charlie handle that. But to speak to volunteers and tell them not to talk to the media, it's like, what reason would you have to talk to the media at an event like that unless something crazy happened and they had a reason to interview you?
Right. No, for sure. So the reason is that like they had volunteers in the past who like they had been interviewed by other organizations. There was a group known as the Black Socialist Club. I forget what it was. Like, really, it was like some socialist group, but they had interviewed one of the students and they had said like, hey, like they had published all this stuff about Turning Point, and they had said like, oh, well, this kid is a representative of Turning Point. He clearly represents all of Turning Point, when in reality that kid didn't represent Turning Point. So
okay, so let me ask you this then, to see, like, let's figure. I mean, you said you did 2 events, right?
Yeah, 2 events. So I did the one in Salt Lake City in 2024, and then I did this one.
Did they do the same thing at the last event that you did as well, or was it just this event that they prepped you not to talk to the media?
I mean, it was mainly just this event. So yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm. So like there had been some underlying rules, like most of the volunteers didn't like talk to any of the media, but like they were like pretty clear on it about this one.
But they didn't do it at the event you were at before. They didn't try. Like,
not really.
It wasn't
no.
like an SO. It wasn't a standard operating procedure to tell the volunteers don't talk to the media.
No, it was particularly for this one.
Brother. Okay. That's weird. Okay, guys, I'm just gonna say, again, right? Do what you will with this, but that's weird. Why? Again, this is just one of those things where it's like it's just another question, right? Why?
Yeah.
Why was it this event specifically that they decided to prep volunteers and make sure that they were not going to speak to the media? What in the world would cause the media to want to talk to a random volunteer? Because how many volunteers were there?
Well, there were plenty. There were plenty of people that they could have volunteered and asked for, and like that, I'd seen some of the volunteers actually talking to the media, like too. There were some people that were giving like explanations, like asking kind of what we were set up doing. There were plenty of like camera crews that were around that were like filming people like holding signs and stuff like that. And for me, like one of the Phil Lyman, his crew interviewed me, and then there was like I said, there was that newscaster guy that came in and he's like, hey, like, can we film you? I said, yeah. And that was when the whole fight broke out. So
that's crazy, dude. So,
yeah.
okay. And I mean, let's play devil's advocate for a minute, right? Like I try my best to like, I know that the truth is usually in the middle, right? You go too far this way, too far that way. It's the pendulum. It's just not going to work. But let's just play devil's advocate for a second. Let's just say that they did prep you because of the danger of you speaking to of volunteers speaking to some random organization or whatever. And so then the question becomes, okay, well then why this event specifically? Is it because there's more activist organizations in UVU than there are in other places? Or is it because, like, I understand there could be questions like that, but I will tell you this right now. The fact that they don't do it or they haven't done it, according to you at least, they didn't do it at the other event that you've been at. And I would be interested now to ask other volunteers. If other volunteers are watching this right now, reach out to me and tell me if they've ever prepped you to not speak to the media at any of the other events that you attended. Because the fact that it was only one and it was this one specifically, like, I don't care who you are. That's a red flag. It's like, why? Because the only reason you do that is if, I mean, I guess there's two reasons. The one reason would be, yeah, we think that there's going to be way too many of these like activist organizations and we don't want to muddy the water or whatever. Yeah. But then the other one is, I mean, something's going to happen and we don't want these guys to talk about it. Anyway, let's go.
The biggest concern was that like that people would film that and they would take it out of context and they would use it against Turning Point.
Yeah,
so
I understand that.
Yeah. So.
I understand that aspect. But the thing that doesn't make sense is why would that not be a standard operating procedure? Like not just like this one-off thing. Why would that not be something they do every single time at every event? So what really comes down to is we need to talk to more volunteers and figure out if that's actually something they do more or if it's just this one time. Because if it's just this one time, I don't care who you are. That's weird. That's definitely a key piece of information. But okay, so they bum rush you. They freaking basically assault you and get you to stop talking. What happened after that? Did they just
SWAT
escort you out?
Yeah, so SWAT entered the building. They took their hands off of me and they're like, everybody out. So we got out and we headed over to the library and people were asking like, me and like a bunch of other students that were leaving the building. And they're like, I just went and sat down on a bench for a second and there was a retired ex-Marine who came to me and he was going to school. His name was Jared. And he's like, hey, are you doing okay? And I said, well, I'm kind of in shock. I just kind of don't really know what's going on. And he's like, okay, like, where's your home? And I'm like, oh, I live over to the hill to the side. And I was like, okay. So like, I asked him if he could give me a ride. And so he gave me a ride over to my apartment and he couldn't even get me in because of how surrounded the area was by police cars. They were searching that whole area and I was able to finally get into my apartment and like, they just had the whole place on lockdown for like the whole day. They said like, nobody goes in or out, like nobody can leave until like later tomorrow. So
a retired Marine came up to you?
Yeah. Like he was going to school. So at UVU.
Like an older guy or like your age?
Like I would say probably like 26, I would say.
How did he know what you went through? Was he there?
Like he had apparently served a tour in Afghanistan.
No. What I mean is like he came up to you and said, hey, are you okay? How did he know? Like, why did he talk to you specifically? Did he watch them do the thing with the interview?
No. So he was walking through he was like walking out of the building and he spotted me and he just saw that I was in shock. And so he went over to check on me.
Was there anybody else around you?
Yeah, there were plenty of people. There were plenty of people leaving. They were just more worried about themselves than it was about me.
Dude, again, that's another weird thing, man. You have a retired Marine who singles you out of everyone else and comes up and says, hey, are you okay?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Interesting, man. I wonder if he saw your interview or if he was standing there when you got assaulted and he was wondering, did you ask him that at all? Did you say, hey, did you see what just happened or whatever?
No, I mean, like we just talked about whether Charlie was still alive. We have no idea. And like, we were just trying to figure it out. And I was like, there's no way that he could have survived it. And even if he did survive it, that he would have had permanent vocal damage or throat damage. That like we just spoke and said that, hey, this is just crazy. Like we never expected it to happen here at UVU.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I know there's former military there for sure. I know there's a
Yeah.
lot in the Utah Valley, but the fact that he singled you out of everybody else because dude, you weren't the only one that looked like you were in shock, right? Like I think
No, there were
everybody else around you was probably in shock too, right?
Yeah, there were plenty of people that were in shock too, but they were more concerned about getting to their cars. And I don't have a car, and so it was like, I was just trying to figure out how I was going to get back to my apartment. That's it.
So were you just like sitting down or something and everybody else was running around or what?
Yeah. So over by the library at UVU, they have a couple of like concrete benches that you can sit down on. And basically I sat there for like probably about, I want to say 5 to 10 minutes. And he came over and checked in on me to make sure that I was doing okay. And that was when he picked me up and took me to his car, and then he drove me back to my apartment. So. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I want to go back to, we're going to table that one for a minute. But I want to go back to what you were talking about, because this is definitely something I don't think anybody's ever heard, or maybe you've talked about it before, but the thing you were talking about with your friend who noticed that there was a guy with a purple shirt. First of all, was it purple or was it maroon?
It was somewhere along the line of that. It might've been maroon. It might've been purple. Like, I just remember that it was within that color. So.
Okay. Do you know who he was talking about? I tried to Google it. I think I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember the name. But I think I remember you're talking about the crisis actor that Alex Jones always talks about that supposedly shows up at all these shootings. Do you remember his name?
Well, he's an anti-gun activist. I forget his name, but Alex Jones has like touched up on him a few times. And my friend was like, yeah, like this guy has like shown up at every major mass shooting. And like there were some other prominent figures that were at this event. They had Elder TikTok, which is really popular amongst the Mormon community. They had Parker, who's big on TikTok. He's known for showing up to Charlie's events and heckling and harassing him. And they had just some Phil Lyman was there, of course. And then like that was basically some of the big names that I could think of. But yeah, I mean, other than that, yeah.
Interesting. And then you said that after he said that, you went and tried to talk to the Turning Point, like.
Yeah, one of the volunteers. So.
Not one of the leaders? No.
So because I was worried that like if I had spoken to one of the leaders, they would have either dismissed me or they would have said okay, like there's probably a panic, like we maybe need to like shut down or something like that. And there was a bunch of people that were showing up. So like if we had canceled the event, it would have been a huge disappointment. But at the same time, like we had no idea about the shooting. We had no idea that it was going to happen. So our initial thought was like, okay, we want to get rid of, any concerns or suspicions. But at the same time, like we want to still be able to put on this event because we had been planning it for months.
Interesting. Why did you said that you were you thought that maybe they would just dismiss you? Why would they do that?
Well, because in my Turning Point group, a lot of the people in my group didn't really take me seriously. I was kind of in some ways kind of looked down upon a little bit.
Why?
And to them, I just seem different. I'm Catholic and they're all LDS. So it's kind of a singleization issue where it's like, you don't really relate on 100% of the same things. And to them, they see me, I guess, more differently. Like they just don't see me as the same. And I wish that they did, but they're nice people and I'm just not close friends with them.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I get that. I understand how Utah Valley is. I understand how that is.
Yeah.
It's actually very annoying. I hate that place. But anyway,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just interesting, man. That's a different. I haven't heard anybody say like you saw a dude wearing a purple or maroon shirt that I want to know the guy's name though. Like, does anybody in the chat know the name of the guy who supposedly shows up as a crisis actor? Can anybody put it in the chat?
I think his name is like Daniel something. I'd have to ask my friend about it because he'd probably know.
Would he answer a text if you text him and asked him?
Right now, well, I'm streaming this from my phone, so I could do that. So,
hold on, I'm gonna look it up really quick here.
Yeah,
Daniel, you said his name?
Yeah, he's a gun activist. So he's an anti-gun activist. I think he operates out of New Jersey. So it just he's connected to Sandy Hook, though.
Interesting.
Yeah.
David, someone's saying David Hogg. Not
That's
David,
his name. That's him. Yeah, David Hogg. Yeah.
Hogg?
Yeah, David Hogg.
He thought he saw David Hogg?
Yes. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So that's the thing. He thought he saw David Hogg.
Is this the first time that we're here? Guys, help me out here. Is this the first time that we're hearing that someone might have spotted David Hogg at UVU? Is this real?
It's possible. Yeah. No, that's what he believed. They said that there was someone that fit the exact description of David Hogg.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, bro. So what? Okay, you didn't go talk to him or anything?
Oh, no.
Nobody went. What was he doing?
He was just sitting there, like just looking around, like just with sunglasses on, just looking around. Like he wasn't really doing anything.
He was just standing around, looking around.
No, just sitting. He was sitting on a bench.
Where was he sitting on? Like what bench? Where?
So it's in front of the UVU logo that they have on the side of the wall where the cafeteria is in the courtyard. There's like a couple like picnic tables that you can sit at, and he was like sitting on one of those like table/benches. So
interesting, dude. I don't know a whole lot about David Hogg. I've heard his name, and I've heard about him being like, part of this whole crisis actor thing, but also he's a huge like gun control activist.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So, I mean, it kind of makes sense to me. I mean, like it's definitely possible.
Okay, hold on. I just read something here. Hogg was not at Utah Valley University when Charlie Kirk was shot there on September 10th. Hogg's location hundreds of miles away later. Okay, so he was at a community event in Pennsylvania. So it wasn't David Hogg, but it's weird that he thought that he saw. It's weird that he thought that that's what he was seeing. It makes me. I mean, is your friend like a conspiracy theorist? Is he the type of person that's just kind of like always digging into that stuff? Or
yeah, well, I mean, he's always been digging into this sort of stuff. Like we both look into this sort of stuff. We're always like, we're open to any option. We look at all sides of the aisle. We listen to stuff from, like the right, the left, Shapiro, Fuentes, Owens, like Jones, like all of them. So we just try to see like where it comes from and like put those stories together and see how much it adds up. So
interesting. All right. Well, lots of questions. I'm made of questions now.
Okay.
I don't know about everybody else, but I am made of them. Not necessarily questions that I feel like you have the answer to, but I just, this is crazy. And the craziest one to me, like the craziest part about all of it is the thing about the Marine. That actually is really weird. But because the fact that he singled you out, I mean, I know, like, again, there's a lot of people. It's weird that he singled you out, came up to you and said, "Are you okay?" Someone actually just asked a question. I think this is important. Someone said, why is he saying the event was planned for months?
Because they had been trying to get Charlie to come to UVU for a while. He'd originally been planning a America Comeback Tour where UVU was not the only location that he was planning on going. He was planning on going around Salt Lake, West Valley, a couple other locations in Utah, Nevada, and California. So it had all been put together. And so Utah Valley University's Turning Point chapter had been requesting that Charlie come and speak at an event at Utah Valley University.
Okay. I don't know. I don't think that's new information. I think people knew. I think people knew that they were trying to get him to come for a long time or whatever. I think that was normal. So okay, this is a question, I guess, then, like, let's stay on this Marine thing. How did you know he was a Marine? Did he tell you he was a Marine?
Yeah, he told me he was ex-military. So
how? Like, did he just walk up and say, "Hey, bro, I'm a Marine. I'm an ex-Marine"?
No, he just heard me, like, explaining about what had happened. Like, I had said, like, "Oh my gosh, this is what I'd seen." And he's like, "Hey, are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." He's like, "Well, like, kind of what's going on?" And I said, like, "Well, obviously I saw the shooting." He's like, "Yeah, I was there too. I happen to be ex-military, so I know how to deal with, like, trauma and, like, emotional stuff like that." And I was like, "Okay." And he just explained to me, like, kind of like what's going on. Like, obviously you're in shock, like, give yourself like 10 minutes to calm down and relax. Like, please just, take it easy. And then we'll go back to the car. He's like, "Is your family here?" I said, "No." And he's like, "Where are they at?" I'm like, "They're in Boston. Like, I'm the only one out here." And he's like, "Okay, like, where do you live?" And I said, "Okay, like, over by the hill." And they're like, "Okay." So, like, he got me, like, over back to my apartment. And it was just really kind of him to do that. And, like, because I didn't know how I was going to get home. Like, I didn't have anyone at that time who was going to be able to help me, like, because the whole parking lot was just flooded with people and they were just trying to get out. So, and the police were everywhere and it was just a mess.
You didn't stay in touch with him at all, did you?
No, never got his number, never got his contact information.
He just helped you out and bounced.
That's it. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I'm trying to just get as much information and just kind of, like, I mean, dude, there's so much about this that's just crazy. Did they ever, what did they say to you after, like, what did Turning Point say to you after the altercation and stuff? Did they ever reach out to you again, or?
So I did a couple of interviews and they said, like, "You cannot do any more interviews or we're removing you as an officer." I was contacted by CNN and they said, "Hey, we want to do a 60 minutes interview with you." So they met me at a cafe at Starbucks and they're like, "Hey, we want to kind of go over what we're going to talk with you about." And they're like, "Okay." So they, I think it was like a Tuesday or Thursday that week, there was a Ukrainian guy. He came up and he picked me up and took me to Governor Cox's office in Salt Lake City at the Utah State Capitol. And that was when we shot the interview with Hunter Kozak. And we just explained kind of what our thoughts were. And I posted it on my Instagram story. And the person who was in charge of our Turning Point chapter, Paige Adams, she subsequently said, like, "Because you did this, we're taking you down as an officer." And they removed me as an officer because of it. So I have not been as involved with Turning Point as I used to be. And I just decided that, hey, if I'm going to get removed for speaking out about the truth, then, I'll just stick to my own things. And I've decided that I'm going to pursue a path of religious insight rather than politics. I'm part of the Catholic club now. I'm doing more research into, like, Catholic history. And to me, it's just like that whole, like, the whole political spectrum of it just seems like such a mess. Like, all of it, like, with the different clubs on campus and, like, with Charlie, like, it's just never been the same. And sometimes I worry that if I get back into it, it's just gonna make more of a mess of things.
Dude, so you did the interviews and then they freaking removed you as an officer.
Yeah.
I mean, did you say anything in those interviews that you've?
No, I never trashed Turning Point once in those interviews. I was very respectful. I just said that I was a volunteer for the event. I was really kind. Like, I just gave my explanation that I was really shooken up from what had happened, and that in the entire history of UVU, we've never had anything like this happen.
Yeah, dude. What's so weird to me is why that would be grounds for you being removed as an officer. Like, all you're doing is, especially, I mean, I'll be honest with you, especially because what you're saying, like, it's not like it deviates super far from what they're trying to put out as the official narrative. I mean, to be honest, like there's probably people in this chat even that think that you're like going along with the narrative because you believe you're shot or whatever. But the fact is that like it doesn't make sense to me why Turning Point USA would not want you to just simply tell the news and tell people what you saw, especially since you're not out here saying that he was blown up by a mic. And you're not out here like you're saying, I heard a bang or I heard a crack.
Yeah, I mean, like
it sounded like a gun. And like you've even said multiple times that that it was a shooting. That's what they want people to think. So it doesn't make sense to me why they would want to stop you from doing news interviews or why they would remove you as an officer for doing that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense. None of it adds up. None of it adds up. And, yeah. So you haven't been really super involved since. Has anybody like kept in touch with you from Turning Point?
Yeah, no, like I'm still friends with everyone who's part of it. Like I don't like I go to like some of the events and like I'll just see kind of who the speakers are. So like recently they hosted it was the Stick of Truth of Joseph. They're like a Mormon group that basically they like talk about like insight and stuff like that, religious insight. And I went and attended that event. I just asked a question. I didn't volunteer or anything like that. And then there's another group that's on campus known as Ratio Christi. They hosted Frank Turek, who was the religious advisor for Charlie Kirk, who's a devout evangelical. And so he showed up at UVU and he gave a speech. And I asked him, one of the key things was that, was Charlie ever considering converting to Catholicism? Because, you know, his views had been shifting a little bit and they had several debates with like Michael Knowles on like Catholicism. And I asked Frank Turek that, and he goes, gee, let me think. False. And he shouts at me. Like he responded to me.
Who was it that yelled at you?
Yeah, it's Frank Turek.
Dude, I hate that guy.
Yeah, so he responded to me in the most unprofessional manner, and I was very respectful to him. I didn't raise my voice at him or anything like that. I was just asked him a simple question, and I just was like, okay, this isn't really worth my time. And the very next person that he comes to interview, he's immediately cutting off, and I'm like, okay, so I just left. I left that whole thing, and I'm like, this is insane, and it's like, you know, when you have the whole, like even let's talk about the funeral for a second. Like when Jackie Kennedy, her husband, was killed in Dallas, Texas in 1963, like it was a very, very somber moment. It was a very sad time and it was a very serious moment. And I just felt like when they had the big, you know, like funeral in Arizona, with the fireworks and the light show, and then Trump and like all the Republicans were there. Like it just felt like a big Republican convention, and it didn't really feel like a funeral. It just felt like, oh, this is just a show to show that like the Republican Party is stronger. Like they killed our top guy, but like we're still the strongest party that we've ever been. And it's through our resolve that, you know, we're going to win the next like 1,000 elections or something like that. And I just felt like, you know, it's almost disrespectful to Charlie's legacy because, you know, to me, to see the way that, you know, it's like Charlie's been like, this whole thing is like played out for Charlie. Like there's people out there that miss him in some ways more than Erica, I feel like.
I mean, that's an understatement, dude.
Yeah, no, for sure. I miss him. I miss him a lot. I only met him twice, but like I miss him. He was a cool dude. So.
Yeah. So were you at the Arizona event?
No, I wasn't. Okay. I had school.
I agree though. I mean, everything you said about how the event was weird. I mean, dude, again, it just goes back to all of it is weird. Everything about this is weird. None of it makes sense. Yeah. There's nothing that's consistent, and more and more questions come up every single day. I'm about to put a video out actually about this whole thing that Candace dropped yesterday with what Charlie was saying about Jews. And like, because now when you take what he said in those text messages and you compare it to things that Frank Turek and Rob McCoy and freaking Ted Cruz and Bibi Netanyahu and all of these people who are huge champions and Zionists in Israel, all of them have basically said the exact opposite of what Charlie was saying in those texts. It's another bombshell text thread that's like, it literally reveals everything. And it shows that either one, they actually had no clue where he stood, or two, they knew where he stood and they are purposely trying to get the public to believe
Right.
that he didn't stand there, which honestly, that's what I believe.
Yeah, and his views were definitely shifting. I've seen the videos. I've seen when the interview with him and Ben Shapiro, and I've seen the video when he talks about how Israel literally wants to cleanse Gaza. They literally want to cleanse that particular area. And I'm not, what's it called? I'm not unfamiliar to the greater Israel plan, which is that they got Syria out of the picture, and that once they get Iran out of the picture, they will expand all the way across the Middle East, and they will have complete financial control over that region. And like Jordan, Libya, it's a serious concern. And I think it's like, now that we have has the full backing of the United States. And, I've seen the comments that JD Vance has made where he's like, Israel isn't really, doing in our favors, and excuse me, it isn't really benefiting us. And it's like, okay, like JD Vance, like we see your point, but like, it's still going to be the same thing. Like if you're elected, we're still going to get the same stuff. So, right. I mean, it's just like, if this greater Israel plan does happen, okay, they will have complete and total control over the entire world's resources, in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And the Greater Israel Project is not a fake thing, by the way. They themselves have said that it's true. But, I've said this many, many times. Here's the bottom line, in my opinion. Charlie Kirk was the first casualty of the Iran war.
Right. No,
and straight up, because if he was alive right now, and this is the reason why so many people believe there was foreign influence. I don't know if you want to dive into this or not. I don't want to force you into it or whatever, but like, this is the reason. The reason why is because he would have been adamantly and vehemently against everything that is happening right now.
Of course he would. Yeah,
for sure. Country. I mean, dude, you just had Trump. Trump came. It was like, I think it was 4 days ago that he did that whole like primetime show about election fraud and talking about how they're going to get to the bottom of the election fraud and how China was involved in it or whatever. Literally today, he just came out and he's like, well, I think China's doing better. We're not really going to go ahead and investigate that. It's like, brother, what? I'm sorry, what? So it's like all of the things that are happening right now, Charlie would have been either against or he would have been very outspoken about everything. And I've said this many, many, many times. That's why I believe that there was foreign influence. That's why I believe this has happened, because Charlie had an absolute chokehold on the pulse when it came to the two youngest generations and what they believed and how they acted and what they were going after. And he was the most influential person to those two youngest generations, bar none. And and changing that ideology and getting to the point where he was starting to understand what was really going on, they could not have him be an influential person to the youngest generations, which are the most valuable when it comes to this war.
Well, I do want to highlight on something else. So like, I want to talk to you about the comparison between the 2024 event that I went to and the 2025 event. So the 2024 event, prior to Trump getting elected, very little security. They did it out in the open at University of Utah, not Utah Valley University, this one in Salt Lake. And they had a couple of people, like you can go and watch the interview with him. The event is that he had 4 guards stationed around. I was standing next to him in the booth and like with a bunch of the other volunteers. They had a crowd of people, no fence gates, nothing. They didn't have any like officers positioned on the roof or anything like that. It was very open. Like literally, if someone wanted to, they could have come up and shot him right then and there, like 5 feet away from him. And then you have this event with way more security and way more like actual fences and posts, like stuff like that. And it was just, I mean, like maybe it's because he wasn't as big, or maybe it was because he was right about Trump winning the 2024 election. But it just seems odd to me. It does seem strange.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So
I mean, you're not wrong. And I mean, that's an understatement with what's so odd about how that event was set up and how the security communicated with UVU police and the security on the campus. And like, there was nothing. I mean, they didn't
right.
have communication. They didn't have a key or this. It's like, there's so many inconsistencies with how that security was run. And I have friends that are in, EP, executive protection. And every single one of my buddies who I've talked to about this have said, if I was running the team, if I was running the executive protection team, the very first thing that I would have done was made sure those roofs were clear, period. End of story.
Right.
Like, it's the very first thing that we would have done. And we would have made sure that there was no way that there was that clear of a vantage point. Like,
No, for sure.
You check the vantage points first. That's what every single one of them has said. So the fact that they didn't do that it's very suspect, dude. It's very, very suspect. Yep. And, yeah, so I'm with you on that. I want to, so somebody asked in the chat, and I think we've already covered this. You probably came in late, but do you know Phil Lyman?
Not personally, but I've met him twice. So okay. I met him once at one of the Riley Gaines events, and then I met him at the other event at the September 10th event. And I'm friends with his wife, Natalie Lyman, on social media. So we both follow each other. So I've heard so many, I don't know Phil, but everybody I've ever talked to, I feel like, that is in Utah that knows Phil have said that he is not a great person. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Like, I just don't know. I don't know him at all. I haven't dug into him very much. But I was just curious if you've only met him twice. What was your vibe when you? He just seemed like a cool uncle to me. Like, just seemed like, like someone who was, like someone you go fishing with, or, like that one old guy that shows up to your Christmas party that is just a really nice guy. Like, my overall impression of him has been pretty positive. I haven't interacted with him a lot, and I've just seen, like, there have been plenty of signs that they've been posting about on social media about, like, him, like, going to different events and speaking. And, as far as I'm aware, like, my impression of him has been pretty good.
Yeah, I have not had that response. The response for me has been the opposite. But again, I don't know him from Adam. I think people are asking about that because of what you were talking about in the beginning, where they said that they thought he was counting down with you or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about that. It's an interesting piece that I feel like I might've heard it like a while ago, but I just didn't, I don't know. I didn't pay much attention to it.
It's not that. It's just that. It's the fact that Baron Coleman did a 15-minute segment on me saying that, oh, by the way, this kid is in on it. By the way, this kid, like,
did you reach out to Baron?
No, I don't know how to contact him.
I'm going to get you in touch with Baron.
Okay, because that's the thing is, like, this is false information that he's posting about, and, like, there's some of it is, like, isn't 100% accurate. And it's making me look like I'm in on this somehow. So that's the thing that upsets me the most.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'll get you in touch with Baron, and hopefully he can have you on or something, and you can talk to him, and I'm sure he wants to talk to you. Like, I'm sure he would want to talk to you in person. So I'll connect you guys. Sure. I didn't see that episode, so I don't know. I don't know.
It's episode 75. So if you just look it up and you skip to 42 minutes in, you'll find it.
Okay. Yeah, like I said at the beginning, I think I don't know Baron super well, but I can connect you guys, and I know a lot of people that are connected to Baron as well. And like I said, I think that just like anybody else, me included, we get a lot of things right, we get a lot of things wrong. Welcome to investigative journalism. Like, it's it just is what it is. But I would imagine that he's the type of person that if he can clear that up, he would. But that's me anyway. That's what I would do, right? If I find out that I'm completely wrong about something, I always own it. And I always say, okay, you know what? I was wrong about this. This is the fact. This is the reality. So, yeah, for all of you guys that are asking, there's your answer. We'll try to connect them with Baron so that you can talk about that.
Okay.
Let's do this. You okay if we open it up to a Q&A for some of these people in the chat?
Yeah, shoot, go ahead.
All right, guys. I can't scroll up and get to all these questions, so if you have any questions you want to ask him, fire them away. Ask him if other TPUSA members think that this situation is completely different than what we're told. I can already tell you the answer to that from my perspective. Yes. The majority of the people I talk to from Turning Point USA are like, this is absolute bullshit.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm going to say yes, but I'm not going to give out names just to protect their confidentiality.
I wouldn't do that either. The people that I'm talking about specifically want to remain anonymous.
So,
yeah. Let's see. Ask Jeb if you heard more than the one shot. Did you hear a shot from close by? Personally, I think Rick Cutler had. I don't know about the palm gun thing, but did you hear anything else? Did you hear
just a single shot, and then deafening silence, and then everyone started screaming. So,
and if you guys weren't here in the beginning, he said something interesting that I haven't heard anywhere else, and it was that it sounded like a freaking log snapping. Which, again, it's interesting because that is not the sound of a 30-06.
Right.
Was the Marine in a maroon shirt?
No, he was not in a maroon shirt.
Do you remember what he was wearing?
I don't remember exactly. He might have been wearing camo pants. Like I said, like that whole section was just kind of a blur. So I just remember he was wearing glasses and he had short hair. So
glasses and short hair. Okay.
Yeah.
He was older, you said? How old would you say he was?
26.
You knew his exact age?
No, my best guess is that he was 26. So 26, 30, like within that age range.
That's a very specific age range, but okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Did you see Blake Neff around at all?
I don't know who that is.
You said you don't know who Blake and Andrew really are? Like Andrew, but you don't. Blake Neff is the bald guy.
I don't know who Blake Neff is. I know who Andrew Colvin is.
Okay. You don't remember? Okay. Let's see. So you don't know who he is. How many UVU chapter members are there? How many were brought in from the outside of the event for the event?
Okay. So there were people from, I think, Spanish Fork, and then there were a couple of kids from, I think, Highland. Is that the name? There was a total of probably about, in like with the Turning Point members, 45, I would say 45, 50, I would say in total.
Okay. 45, 50. Okay. Had you ever met Tyler or Lance before the event, or know any of their friends that knew them, or did you know Tyler had met someone before the event from Turning Point USA?
No.
And you didn't hear that, because apparently he met with somebody from Turning Point USA before.
No, I swear on my heart, it was not me. So.
Okay. It was not you that met with.
No, definitely not.
No, that's not what they were asking. They were just asking if you heard that he had met with somebody.
No.
Okay. What was the biggest change from Charlie to Erica?
The biggest change from Charlie to Erica? In what context?
Yeah, I don't know what context. I don't understand that question either, actually. I'm still going down these. If you have any other, you can talk too if you have anything you want to add to it while I'm looking through these. Charlie been able to. Okay, it says, ask him if the officers on the roof behind Charlie should have been able to see the shooter on the Losi building.
Probably not, because the angle that it was at, it was much higher than where like you could see. So like if you stand in the courtyard where you see the roof of the Losi Center, it's probably not visible to where you could have seen it. So even up at that spot, you wouldn't have been able to see him, I don't think.
Okay. Guys, I'm just asking the questions. I'm not going to dig into stuff right now. I'm just asking questions. So we just keep going. Let's see. Do you know who Nate and Danny are?
No.
Okay. How did you get to the event?
I walked. So I
Okay.
walked through UVU and I just walked through the main building.
That's why you needed a ride home.
Yeah. So
And this guy literally drove you home and just dropped you off, and that was it.
that was it. Yeah.
What was he driving?
I asked him for a ride. I'm like, please, I need to get to my apartment.
Do you remember what he was driving?
It was a gray pickup truck.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, let's see. What exactly did Cooper Brown say to you when he put his hands on you?
He said, we're not doing this. And then he went, like, he started grabbing me. He didn't really say anything. He's like, Jeb, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. And like, just started grabbing me.
Okay. Let's see. You guys are asking a lot of the same questions, so I'm just trying to scroll through these. Jeb, did you get any inside info about a reduction in workforce from Turning Point USA? Any specific similarities from those of the people that lost their jobs?
No.
Anything like that?
No.
Okay. I already answered that, guys. What did he say before he got cut off? We already talked about that. That was what this all was about. Okay. Still going. What other questions? I already asked him about Tyler, guys. Does Jeb know? I think Jeb knows what a Zionist is. Yes. If he knows what the Greater Israel Project is, he probably knows what a Zionist is. Are you laughing, dude?
Yeah, so that's hilarious. Yeah, it was so interesting that he brings that up. There was a member from Deseret News who reached out to me and asked me if I believe that it was anti-Semitic to do research into AIPAC. So like whether politicians should be receiving money from AIPAC. And I said, no, like there's nothing anti-Semitic about researching into politicians who receive money from Israel. Like it's literally, there's literally a website called AIPAC Tracker that you can literally track the amount of money that these politicians are receiving.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
standard. And the Deseret News,
yeah.
So, typical.
Yeah, me and so it covered me and like two other people, and then I'm sure you've heard of him, Kai Schwarmer.
I know Kai. Yeah.
Yeah, you know Kai. Have you talked to him before?
I've never talked to Kai. I just know him through mutual friends, and they asked me to come on one of those debate tours. I was supposed to go to New York like a couple months ago, but I wasn't able to do it. And I was going to speak with Kai, I think, but I just know people that know Kai. I've never spoken to him.
Okay, yeah, because I've spoken to him a few times, and I've talked with him a few times on Instagram. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not because I didn't want to. I just haven't had a reason to like talk to him yet. So I'm sure.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So here, let's see. I'm curious. So this is a good question. Right now at UVU, and especially after, was there a lot of talk about how weird it was that they paved over everything and like completely changed that area?
So
what was like the general sentiment with all the students of the fact that they just completely changed the area?
So according to what my chapter president said, Caleb Chilcutt, he explained that there was so much blood in the ground that they couldn't rip up the grass to get it out. So they just were like, hey, we're paving this area over because like the grass was just stained. Like there's no way that it could get out. So.
Okay. I mean, I've heard that before too. Is it true that they changed stuff in the tunnel? I heard that they changed things in the tunnel too. Is that true?
Which tunnel? There's two. No,
the
three.
main tunnel that they pulled, that they brought him to the SUV in, the one that was right behind the tent.
The one okay. So if you're talking about that tunnel that's underneath where the tent was, that's not a tunnel. That's just where the bridge of where the Hall of Flags is. So because when you said the tunnel, that's making me think of the tunnel that leads over to Walmart in that direction that leads from UVU. So because those are in two separate locations.
Okay. Yeah, I'm talking about like if you're facing the tent,
Mm-hmm.
it's that tunnel that's right behind there where all the students ran into. And there's that video of everybody like crouching down inside the tunnel.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that's like I said, that's the area that's underneath the Hall of Flags. That's just like literally that's just what is it called? That's just like literally this spot underneath the building. So that's not really, it's not really a tunnel. It's just an overhang.
Did they do anything to that tunnel? I heard that they did, like just like they paved over that area, that they changed things about that arch.
The only thing that I've seen is that like they paved over the grass. They haven't changed that tunnel up at all. It still has the same exact sign that says no smoking in courtyard. Exactly the same sign that when he was killed. So.
Okay. Someone asked if you were invited to speak at the Ben Carson event.
I went to the Ben Carson event, yes, and I did speak to Ben Carson. So.
When was the Ben Carson event?
About a month to 2 months after. So maybe 3.
Okay. I don't know why they asked that, but that was the question.
Yeah.
Someone said, why didn't security, I don't think why didn't security draw their guns after hearing the fire? You're not going to have an answer for that. No one's,
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm assuming because they had no idea where it was coming from. So
that's actually a good point though. Where were you standing when it happened?
Okay, so if I can, let me give you courtyard. Hold on, because I'm in front of my laptop, so I can actually show a picture of this. So, images. Yeah. So here, is there a way that I can flip my camera?
I mean, just flip your phone camera and show the.
My phone camera. Okay. Yeah. So like, it would be.
Here, I'll make you the main thing. Hang on a second. So that way.
Yeah, it would be right in this section right here.
Hold on. Let me just remove myself from it.
Do you see it? Do you see it?
Oh, sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. It said that my sound went out. Yeah, I can see it. So where did you say you heard the sound from, or you thought you heard it from?
So like right this way, like dead center to the left.
That's where you heard it from?
Yeah, I was standing right here and I heard it from the left, like straight down.
Okay. Again, guys, I'm just asking the questions. I'm not like, I'm literally asking the questions. He's going to give the answers, and then you guys, I'm not going to tell you what to believe. So I'll talk about it or whatever, but let's see what other, people are asking about Erica, what you know about Erica. Did you ever see Erica before? Do you remember seeing her ever anywhere?
Nope, we have not ever been in the same vicinity at all. I've never seen her. I've never met her. So, no.
So was it weird to you? I mean, you already said it was weird, like with the funeral and all that kind of stuff, but
yeah,
was it also just weird to you how all of a sudden now she's like...
Well, I mean, like, it's just, it's like people are like, oh, well, it's just how you grieve. I'm like, if my husband, like if I was a woman, like if my husband was assassinated in front of 3,000 people, like I could not just go out and like speak to the public like for like 3 days after. That's just like to me that just seems way too soon. Like I'd be grieving that for weeks, if not like a month.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with that for sure. Okay, let's see. Is that where the majority of the volunteers were standing, or were you guys spread out?
Spread out.
Okay, so just kind of everywhere?
Yeah, just kind of everywhere.
Was it designated areas, or did you guys just picked where you wanted to stand?
It was, you could go wherever you wanted. So your job was to pass out flyers.
Okay. Interesting. Let's see. Someone said, is it normal to not have an ambulance at an event like this? Did you see? Was there an ambulance at the second? Because you only been to the 2 events before.
Yeah,
Was
there was
one,
there
one
was
in 24, was there an ambulance?
no. I mean, like there was not an
You said-
ambulance
you
at
said it was, like,
any one
not
of.
even any security.
Yeah, there weren't an ambulance at any one of these events. So both events that I went to, there was no ambulance.
Okay. Did you see drones? That's a good question. See or hear drones?
Maybe I can't remember. There might have been. So I just remember a lot of cameras. So a lot of film crews.
A lot of cameras, and yet.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. We'll ask a few more questions, and then we're gonna call it. Okay. How well publicized was the event?
I mean, pretty well publicized that like it got the attention of NY Times and CNN, and like they had a bunch of reporters and like TikTok influencers who were there. So like I think it was pretty big. So I mean, it became obviously because of what happened, it became more popular. So
right. Okay. There was I'm trying to find this. Okay, here. When you were giving the original interview, you talked about looking to the left and then to the right. Can you explain further what you were going to say from there? Why did you look from the left and to the right?
Okay, so obviously because the courtyard is shaped like, like a triangle, and I'm positioned on the right side of that triangle, and I heard the shot from my left, so I look over, and that's where the direction of the shot came. When I say that I look back to my right, that was when I saw Charlie go down.
So you look to the left, look to the right. That was when you saw Charlie go down.
Yes. So I just want to keep this as clear as possible. Like,
yeah. No, I get it. I'm just just asking questions.
For sure.
These guys are asking. And then we'll go from there. Let's see. Did you notice what? I don't know what that's all about. Did you notice the guy talking to a bush? I have no idea what that's about.
What?
Said, did you notice the guy talking to the bush? I have no idea what you're talking about.
The bush? What? No, I don't know what that's about. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. We already talked about why we thought he got silenced, and it's the same thing. Like he went on the news a couple of times after that, and they removed him as an officer because of it. Okay, let's see. He already talked about that. Have you contacted Candace at all?
No.
Tried to?
No, I have not. So
okay.
Whenever team members reached out to me and I just didn't give a response, I had too much going on at that time. So I'm a college student. I have like 1,000 things going on in my life. And like, I just, like the thing is like my family's been concerned about like conspiracy theories and stuff like that I just don't want me like getting involved in a rabbit hole, that sort of thing. So.
Interesting. All right, let's end it with this. Everybody's asked this question. I also have this question. And answer honestly, man. Answer what you believe. And do you think that the official narrative is the truth? I mean, do you believe that it was a single gunman with grandpa's rifle and all this other stuff about it?
So I personally believe that there was more than one party involved, and I'm not 100% sure if it was a 30-06. I don't fully believe that. And I don't think that, some disgruntled ex-Mormon kid who has a trans furry girlfriend is going to say to himself, oh, I'm going to go out and murder someone in front of 3,000 students because they disagree politically. And even if that is the case, like, because he's being tried in court right now, like, I just think that's so, there's just a lot of things that just don't add up to me. And, it makes me think about what Charlie said. It makes me think about some of the people around him and like their thoughts. And, to me, the fact that like, you can be killed for having a different political opinion in a place like UVU with that and tell me that, oh, this kid like probably planned it out for months, like, and coordinated this event. Like, that's, to me, that makes me a little like, okay, there's got to be more to this story, because that can't be the official like story. That can't be the official narrative.
Yeah, I think that is probably the sentiment that most people agree on. So why is it that you believe? Yeah, why is it you believe that there could be multiple parties involved? Like, what leads you to believe that specifically?
Okay, so like number one, the fact that you have all of these influencers and you have all these big figures like Elder TikTok, Parker, and you like potentially someone who not David Hogg but looks like David Hogg, and a couple other like potentially like influencers, like smaller content creators. We all know that Hunter Kozak, he worked with Destiny's F America tour, like he was part of that. And you know, there were some people saying that, oh, like Hunter rehearsed his reaction. I don't 100% believe that. I've spoken to Hunter multiple times, and you know, his reaction seems pretty genuine. I mean, it's possible. I'm not going to dismiss it, but I mean, he seems pretty genuine. So, like, I would say, just the only thing is like I just don't believe the official narrative. So,
yeah. Interesting. Okay. Anybody have anything else? Any last question that we haven't asked already? If not, I'm going to let them go. Let's see. All right, we'll end with this one. What is the general consensus among your friends and people who love Charlie there about what happened to him? Is it basically the same as what you said? Most people just...
Yeah, what's it called? We loved him. We miss him. We're heartbroken by what happened. We're still searching for answers. We're just trying to figure things out, and like just how much like sense that this whole thing makes to us. Like it puts us on high alert. And as far as like, you know, future events that Turning Point's going to host, they'll do them inside. We're not going to do any more outside events because they're just too much of a risk. So
interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on, man. I appreciate you giving your, giving your take and explaining your experience and being willing to do this. And, yeah, I just appreciate it, man. I know it takes a lot to come on here. So I think that there's a lot of questions, and I knew that that's what was going to happen. Like my whole goal was just let you talk, let you explain what you saw, what you experienced, different things. And I knew that there would be questions that came out of that. And I will tell you, the biggest one that I have is the Marine. That one is, it's like, yeah, sure. Like maybe a guy just wanted to reach out to you and help you or whatever. But like that one is the most suspect one for me, personally, because, you know, and also there's the question about why they prepped you guys beforehand, which again, we could find out that that's just a normal thing from other volunteers. Who knows? If you guys are watching this, once again, please reach out and let me know. You know, I think those are probably the biggest questions. There's also why did they not take the comment seriously about there being a weird person, you know?
Right. No, for sure.
Like what was that all about? And then, yeah, man, I mean, there's definitely questions that we still have. And yeah, this is where we're at, man. It's just nothing. I am made of questions, as I believe everybody else is.
Yeah, no, for sure. So
actually, this is a good last question. Did the police or the FBI ever interview you?
The police did call me. Yes, the FBI did not interview me. So they just asked me if I saw anything strange, and I just told them my account. And yeah, that's literally it. So
okay, cool. Dude, anything else you want to say? Anything else you want to add to this before I let you go?
I'm all right, man.
All right, brother. Stay safe, man. Let me know if you need anything. I appreciate you coming on again. Thank you. And yeah, dude, stay in touch. If you hear anything or if you know anything, let me know.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, brother.
You have a good one. Bye.
There's a lot to unpack. I'm going to have to like go watch this again and try to catch everything. And I hope you guys understand, like, I will definitely be following this up with what I think and what I believe. I didn't want to do this on this show. I wanted it to just be open for him, let him say what he wants, let him get his experience out there, let him talk. And then I want, let's have everybody try to figure out what's going on. Let's see what kind of information comes out. If there's answers to certain questions that have been asked, like, this is how this works, right? I'm not here to say that this is what's happening, or that, like, that's not how it goes. So I just wanted to let him talk, and now we take this information and we go from there, man. But I will say, like, those things that we talked about, the first thing for sure that is the weirdest thing for me, are there any, man, you guys probably won't say because you don't want to be revealed, but if there's any volunteers on here right now, is it a standard operating procedure to prep volunteers to not speak to the media at all these events? I think that's a really important question, because if it was just this event, I mean, guys, again, to me, it's like, maybe it's because, UVU is more prone to getting like crazy activist groups or news stations, and they don't want a volunteer to say something stupid. Like, that might be possible for sure. But for me, it's like, why in the world would the media otherwise want to talk to a volunteer? Like, why would they immediately try to talk to a volunteer? And then the next thing is the Marine, man. The Marine one that one's weird. That one's really weird. I'll be honest. There's a lot of people. I guarantee you all of them looked very shocked. All of them looked very, there's no way that he was special, in my opinion, in any way, being surrounded by all these other people. And the fact that this guy just singles him out, walks up, offers advice, offers help on how to cope with, PTSD or whatever, and then gives him a ride home. Man, I don't know, dude. It's weird. It's freaking weird, man. It's freaking weird. And now I'm sure there will be more that comes out from this. And I get that there's people that are saying, yeah, I'm an ex-Marine, like I can help. It's like, sure. I mean, yeah, I know that ex-Marines are helpful, but like at the end of the day, it's just weird, man. I don't know. And then the age was kind of a weird thing too, where it was like 26. I'm like, that was a quick, that was a very sure age. So that was weird too. I don't know, man. I do want to say, please, do me a favor and just, like, man, please don't make it an attack on this kid. Like, whatever you may believe, don't go attack this kid. Don't, like, this. That's not what this is about, man. Don't bully this kid. I saw some of you guys bullying him in the comments. It's not okay. Like, believe what you want. That's fine. But at the end of the day, the truth will rise to the top. I don't know him from Adam. You don't know him from Adam. This is literally the main interaction that I've had. Like, I've talked to him prior a couple times just to, see kind of if he act like I said, when I talked to freaking Mitchell, I always vet my guests. And so I talked to him on the phone and I just tried to figure out, like, what he knew. And I felt like, okay, this is a different perspective. This is something, but I don't actually know this kid. And so neither do you. And just remember that there's nuance in everything. Please don't go and attack this kid. Like, it's just not, it's not right, man. But anyway, I saw Kai. Are you in here, dude? Kai, what's up, man? It's funny. We were literally just talking about this. I've never actually like spoken to you, but we have a lot of mutuals. Let's see. Do you still love Tim Ballard? Dude, I haven't talked to Tim in a very, very, very long time. I don't actually know who Scott Keller or Rick Cutler are. But OUR, I also don't know a lot about OUR because I stopped working with OUR when I found out about all the stuff that was happening with Tim. And then I remained close to Tim for a while of just like helping him with the film and things like that. And I knew what he was going through with the lawsuit, and I've been very vocal about that. But I'll be honest, man, when he started speaking out about Israel and everything, like, I haven't talked to him since. I I don't know what's going on there. And yeah, we'll just leave it there. Haven't talked to him for probably, I don't know, close to a year, if not a year. Anyway, I'm just going through these comments. Guys, thank you so much for all the super chats and all the support. I appreciate you guys. I really do. See, Ian, wait, are you trying to like, are we enemies now or something? I don't even know you, brother. What are you talking about? I literally haven't talked to Tim. I can literally prove it for over a year. So, I don't know what you're trying to get at there. Also, he beat every lawsuit and every allegation. So that was all fake. Whether or not he took a check from Israel and whether or not he's being paid to push propaganda right now, I don't know. I hope not, but I straight up haven't talked to him because of that. So he was supposed to come on. I talked to his main security guy is a good friend of mine. Like if we're really just talking about this, because I know everybody likes to pretend that they got zingers. And if you're trying to dig at me, good luck, buddy. You got nothing to dig up. But I'll just tell you this. I know I'm good friends with his main security guy, and he wanted me to have him on the podcast, and I refused it because of the Israel stuff. So I don't know what your plan is or what your game is, dude, but obviously you got something going there. So if you want to talk about it, I'm happy to. I've never met you. I don't know you from Adam, but go ahead and reach out anytime. Shilltown. Shut up, dude. Oh, man. I love it. I love it. Aren't you the one that believes the official narrative? Aren't you the one that believes the 30-06 situation? Man, the internet's a funny place. I'm trying to go through. Let's see. I didn't ask Jeb about the preliminary trial, guys. I should have, but I didn't ask him about that. Let's see. Just going through some of his comments. Kai, how about you stop being a bitch on my chat and actually reach out to me like a man? How about that? Let's just put it up right there and then. If you want to debate, you want to get on and talk to me, or you want to keep on crying in my chat like a bitch. How about that? Reach out anytime. It's wide open. I'll actually send you a message after this and we can chat and you can actually talk to me instead of whatever this is that you're doing here. Happy to talk to you, dude. Happy to debate. Happy to talk about whatever you'd like to. Okay, so if you're not Kai Schwimmer, I can't tell because I can only see the handle, bro. And like I said, I don't know who Kai is, so that's good to know. If it's not Kai, I'll be sure to reach out to Kai apparently and let him know that somebody's trying to impersonate him and come after me. Anyway, let's see. Ian, you're in the right with this Mitchell dude. I know I am. I am well aware that I am in the right with the Mitchell dude because the way that he reacted afterwards is obvious, very, very telling. All right, so let's do this really quick. We got a little bit more time, but let's just do this. So for those of you that haven't been here the entire time, and just to kind of recap, basically the things that stand out to me the most, we talked about a lot, but the things that stand out to me the most is the sound he heard supposedly came from the left. And he said it sounded like a branch snapping, but even more than that, he compared it very vividly to Captain America breaking a log over his leg in the Avengers movie. I don't remember which one it was, but he was very specific about that. And that is interesting because that is not the sound that the 30-06 makes. He also said that afterwards, this is another thing that stuck out to me. After he got stopped doing that interview, he did a few other interviews and then they removed him as an officer because he was speaking out about it. But what's really interesting too, and I pointed this out, is while he says he doesn't believe the official narrative, it sounds like he does believe that Charlie was still shot. And so he's not like perpetuating the Mike theory or any of these other things. And it like he also he said that it sounds like it could have been multiple people, but his response is ultimately pretty close to the official narrative, or at least it's like it wouldn't be misconstrued as being crazy off the official narrative. So I can't see why Turning Point would be so adamant about silencing this guy. That is an interesting thing to me. The other is obviously, and we've talked about this now, is the fact that one of his friends or something, he said, saw another guy that looked like David Hogg, which wasn't there. And obviously someone proved that in the chat and said that he was at some other event. But the fact that he said he thought he saw a crisis actor and that they went and told some other volunteers, but they were dismissed as this isn't a big deal and just kind of like forget about it. That's another thing that stands out. Don't know what that means. And then the Marine, man, the Marine part is the weirdest one. I can't get over the Marine part. He says that after everything happened, he was in one of the, I guess he was in the building or something. And he said he was like sitting down and this Marine came up to him and approached him and asked him how he was doing and offered him like condolences and said that like told him that he needs to take a breather and that he's experienced in like PTSD and he's been through a lot and blah, blah, blah. And then eventually he ends up taking the kid home. He ended up taking Jeb home. But that's it. And he hasn't kept in touch with him and he didn't say anything else. And then when I asked him if he knew how old he was, he said 26. And I was like, what? 26. All right. Okay. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, sorry. Apparently he did refer to himself as an ex-Marine. Yeah. Because he wasn't a Marine. He was an ex-Marine. Sorry. That's a good question. Yeah, I can ask him. I don't know if he said ex or former. It's a good question. I'll ask him. Let's see. Sorry, late to this because I was watching Danks exposing. Danks came after him, huh? So I told you guys at the beginning of this that there were some pretty big accounts that were watching Mitchell closely, not just me, and that the freaking hammer was going to fall. Leave it to Danks. Danks is the man. He's not the first one either. I can tell you that right now. There's more. So, look, I don't get everything right, guys, but I really do try my best to vet people. And I like to think that I've been pretty spot on with most of my intuition. And when I trust my gut, I've been pretty good about, being on point. And there's a lot of red flags with homie, with Mitch. And there's a lot of red flags with whoever the other guy is that he's with. And there's a lot of red flags with how this random podcast that they're always on is popping up and the amount of attacks that I got. And somebody tried to say that I was involved in UVU or something like that. And I'm like, all of that is very suspect. And so there you go. I'll have to go watch that, but Danks is on him and there's more to come. Don't worry. So this is a good question. And thank you so much for super chat. Have you heard of Operation Jade Helm? And do you think there's a possible connection? Off the top of my head, let me see if I can. Off the top of my head, no, but that's not saying that if I read this right now, I'll remember what it is or I've heard it somewhere else. I remember hearing something very I think I remember hearing something about this, but I don't know a lot about it. No. So I can't, but to answer your question, is there a possible connection? Guys, I don't rule anything out at this point. I really don't rule anything out. Let's see. Yeah, the part that was kind of weird too. I knew that he didn't really know Andrew. He told me that he didn't know a ton about Andrew, but he also had told me he told me that it wasn't like, Andrew, like everybody else, like Andrew just wasn't really around. And so kind of the same thing. But yeah, he said he didn't know who Blake was, which, I mean, that's not crazy hard to believe. I didn't know who Blake was either. I don't think nobody knew who Blake was. And honestly, I didn't know who Andrew was either, which is why I've been so skeptical about Andrew from the get. Because the fact that this guy just popped up and all of a sudden now he's the face of the Charlie Kirk show and he's so prominent and he's always around and he's always there and he's like clearly the opposite ideology of what Charlie was getting to. Like, it's just very suspect. So it's not weird to me that he didn't know who they were, though, because I had no clue who they were either. And while he's a volunteer and I'm not, like, I wasn't nearly as, versed in the company at all or anything, I feel like you'd at least, I don't know. I feel like there's at least a similarity there, but let's see. That's not a bad idea. Take him to the shooting range and see what he hears. Okay, someone said the mic theory doesn't hold up. The shirt would have ripped a hole to some degree. Here's the thing. I think there's something about the mic theory. And by the way, you guys know me. I don't know. I think anybody knows what actually happened. We just know that the official narrative is not the truth, and we know that there's more to the story. But I will say that I think a lot of people don't understand what the actual mic theory is, because the mic theory is not that the mic blew up and killed him by actually working. The mic theory is that it was a chest charge and that it malfunctioned and that a piece of the mic flew up and took his jugular out. And if you think about it, if that's the theory, then it kind of makes sense, because what would have happened if that chest charge actually went off in his chest? It might have looked more like a 30-06, right? So, do with that what you will, but I think the mic theory, there's more to that. I don't know. I'm not ruling it out, though. I've seen a lot of evidence that definitely can point to that, and we all know how Mossad works, so who knows? We need Ian Went and Ian. Dude, Ian Carroll's a good friend of mine. We've sat down. We did a full podcast episode. Go watch it. It's on my YouTube. He was I want to say he was like my 10th guest. But yeah, Ian's a homie. Yeah, the 25 million thing about Mitch. Yeah, it's wild. I know. Let's see. Am I hoping to interview other people? Yeah, for sure. When people, this is the thing, like when people reach out to me and they're like, hey, you should talk to me, or they say, hey, you should talk to this person, it's always the same way I go about it. I first figure out if they're actually worth talking to. And then once I figure out, okay, this person might be worth talking to, I get a hold of them and I vet them and figure out if they're actually worth talking to, if there's actually information that could help or lead to any more to this investigation. So yeah, I'm open to talking to other people for sure. You look like you might need a ride home is weird. I know. It really is. It really is very strange. That's the part that I can't get over. It's freaking weird. Because, let's say that it was a bad actor that was this ex or former Marine or whatever. In essence, whoever that was now knows where this kid lives. I don't know. It's just really interesting. Let's see. Yeah, I also just saw this. Yeah, please. Actually, this is, I really appreciate this, guys. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe to my YouTube. I will try to do more streams. I haven't been as active on my YouTube as I've been on like my Instagram and other things, but I will try to be more active and do more streams like this, because apparently you guys do enjoy it. And so yeah, I'll see what I can do, and I'll be on here more. But please subscribe to my YouTube and continue to follow along. I appreciate you guys and all your support. Let's see. Just trying to keep up with all these comments. There's a lot. You gonna be on Real AF anytime soon? Dude, I don't know. That last episode was way back in 2021. I mean, if Andy wants me on, he'll let me know and I'll go on. Andy's a good friend, and yeah, maybe. Who knows? That was a cool episode, though. If you guys didn't catch it, definitely go listen. I think it's 138 historic recurrence. Let's see. I'm just reading through these questions, guys. Let's see. He reminds me of David Hogg. Was it intentional he mentioned him? I don't know. I mean, I don't know a lot about David Hogg. I only know just what has happened, but I don't know. I mean, someone already proved that wouldn't have been him because he was somewhere else, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, he was talking about a crisis actor. He was talking about how they thought they saw a crisis actor. All right. Wow. Thank you so much, OG King Draper. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for that super chat. That's awesome. Mitchell Manley threatened to sue a small YouTuber in the comments. Read the lawsuit with his father. Very strange response for a poor person. Doesn't reflect. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying, dude, what's so funny is these people always resort to lawsuits. And it's like, if you have nothing to hide, what are you talking about? Why, like, yeah. Great interview. I missed the one, but no, that's what we're talking about. Go watch the last stream that I posted. That was all about the cameraman. I didn't interview him because he's not who he says he is. The ride home, maybe to gather info on him and change his view on events. Possibly. Yeah. I mean, again, that's the weirdest one. That's the weirdest one of all of it. Let's see. Just trying to see if you guys have any other questions or anything. Good seeing you in conversation, not just rants. Yeah, like I said, I'll try to do this more. I appreciate you guys' support. I enjoy doing the rants and things, but you know, this has been good too. So I do enjoy it. Let's see. Does the FBI or Utah have the footage from behind Charlie? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that was just the footage that Candace released. But I mean, supposedly it was given to them, right? Ian, is there anyone you follow that you recommend we watch? I mean, yeah, Ian Carroll. You guys probably already follow him. For sure, watch Ian Carroll. He's awesome. Who else, like, specifically? You know, James Lee's pretty good. James Lee's he definitely doesn't get everything right, but none of us do. And I always say that. None of us get everything right. James Lee's pretty good, though. I like James Lee a lot. I like his takes when he reports on things. I enjoy like 99.99% of his content. So if you're not following James Lee, I would say go follow James Lee. Obviously, if you guys don't follow Andy Frisella, follow him. Andy Frisella is great. And Bobby Sauce. Follow Bobby Sausalito. If you don't follow it on Instagram, he's at Take Naps. And I believe it's the same on X, but Bobby's awesome. Bobby's absolutely incredible. He's smart, and he's a great person, great follow, and a good friend of mine too. So definitely go follow them. All right, let's see. What about Candace and Barron? I mean, same as anything else. Like I follow Candace. I think Candace has been over the target in many, many, many things. And obviously, for me, it's like there's a reason they're not suing her. Because if she was totally wrong, and if they had nothing to hide, they would. But they haven't, and so you got to ask why. But you know, I don't think that she gets everything right, though. She's gotten a lot of things wrong. But again, so does everybody. And it's crazy to just assume that she's never going to get anything wrong. Like, that's absolutely insane. And that you're not going to say anything about it, even if you don't, like, if you have strong suspicion of something, the fact that that people think that you're just not, like, that's investigative journalism. That's how you get to the truth. You sift through the dirt to find the gold. But, you know, it's crazy that it's just the court of public opinion or whatever. But yeah, I mean, Candace is a great follow. Obviously, she's the last text. I'm about to drop a video on the text messages that she just dropped, because again, it gets these people caught in massive lies and just continues to raise even more questions and makes absolutely no sense. Barron, I follow Barron. I like Barron. I think he's also, it's the same thing. Like, I think he gets a lot of things right. He probably doesn't get a lot of things, or he probably gets a lot of things wrong. I mean, that's just how it goes. I've seen a couple things that I'm like, I definitely don't agree with that. But you know, imagine a world where you don't have to agree with every single thing someone talks about. Like, do I like Stu Peters? Yeah, I like Stu. I enjoy his show. I think that Stu, for me, sometimes is a little bit more sensational than I like, but I wouldn't like, I like Stu. I think he's a good, he's a good follow, and I enjoy his content. But a little bit more sensational, I would say, than my liking. It just kind of seems more like a big show. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, most of his stuff is great. Any plans to head to DC? No. Why would I head to DC? Referencing Sandy Hook makes you think they're going to sue people. That's not the first time that I've heard somebody reference other situations. I mean, that's just kind of part of it. I don't think that's, yeah. Wow, John Sanders, thank you so much. Appreciate it, man. It's awesome. Thank you. A Lot in Common podcast. Interesting. I've never heard of that, but I'll have to look into it. Just still going through. Man, there's a lot of comments, guys. I'm trying to keep up with you guys. Sorry. Yeah, Julie, I know. I heard about that, and I knew about that also. I didn't know Danks was going to be the one to drop it, but I knew about it. Someone sent it to me. So I'm glad Danks brought it up. I asked him about drones. I did. Space is fake, NASA lies. Yeah, thanks. See ya. Guys, I told you, every time that you say goodbye from now on, you have to say F you, dude, and God bless. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the last show. Ginger Theory. I like Ginger Theory. I think that I think she goes deeper into things than I do personally. And I think that there's like, how do I put this? I think with Ginger Theory, she's like one of those people where like sometimes everything is a thing. And I just don't believe that. I'm one of those people that don't believe that everything is a thing. Like sometimes the thing is just not a thing. But I think, but she's great. I've met her in person. And I've talked to her many times, and she's great. So yeah, definitely a good follow. If you're not following Ginger Theory, you should follow Ginger Theory. She's good too. And she covers a wide variety of topics, like for sure. Okay. All right. Caught up to the bottom, guys. So I'm just going to go ahead and just finish this off by talking about something I think is important. I talked a little bit yesterday about it on the space, but here it is. Everybody needs to realize that, and I talked about this a little bit at the beginning too, but we're just going to go like, anyway, this is a absolute battlefield of information right now. And this information war is, don't get it twisted. It's part of the actual war that's going on. If there are history books or whatever history books look like 10, 15, 20 years from now, they're going to say that this social media information battlefield was part. I would actually be willing to say that I think it'll be a front. It will be considered a front in this war. And I've said many times, I think Charlie Kirk was the first casualty of the Iran war and what will soon be the materialized Third World War. Now that's been going on for a very long time. It's just the buildup that we're dealing with right now. But you need to understand that there's a very real agenda to purposely divide people into in-group and out-group in every way, and not just from one side or the other, from both sides. So I'll give you the best example I can use is the Erica Kirk versus Candace Owens like phenomenon. Okay. The reality is that if you are listening to Candace Owens or sharing any of her stuff, there's this agenda to make every single person that does that a cult member, right? Or there's all these different little buzzwords and nicknames and everything, right? And it's no different than any other situation in history where they do this. Same as if you're somebody who supports Erica, there's all the buzzwords and the labels and all the different things for you as well. What is happening is there's a massive divide is being created to make it so that people forget that the actual issue at hand is not Erica Kirk versus Candace Owens and who Erica is and who Candace is and what they believe and what they stand for and what they're doing. It has nothing to do with Candace or Erica in reality. They're just players in the game. But the actual game and the thing that everybody should be focused on is the truth versus the suppression of the truth. Who is on the side of getting to the truth? And that's really easy to understand and to see because you just pay attention. Who's asking the questions? Who's actually trying to dig into this? Who is not trying to silence people? Who's not just attacking people and using, names and vulgarity and everything to just attack them relentlessly? Who is actually trying to get to the bottom of the ultimate question, which is who killed Charlie and why? Period. End of story. That's it. But this is not a Erica versus Candace thing. And everybody needs to figure this out and stop focusing on Candace and Erica because that's what they want you to do. And instead, you need to start focusing on truth versus suppression of truth. Who's actually after the truth and who is trying to suppress it? Okay? And if you do that, all of a sudden now, there's no sides. All of a sudden now it becomes more clear, who do I trust? Who do I listen to? Who am I actually giving any time and attention to, right? And that's what these people don't want you to do. They want you to continue to be in this weird ass like echo chamber of Erica versus Candace. And now Andrew Colvett and Blake versus Candace. Like they're purposely creating the teams. It's the same thing they do with the political party. It's the same thing they do with every other situation that's ever arisen, whether it's COVID and COVID deniers, anti-vaxxers, or BLM and racists. Like it's the same playbook every single time. They use these labels, they use these teams, they use these sides solely to take the focus off of what the actual issue is. Okay? And that's it. And 9 times out of 10, what it comes down to is the actual issue is the truth versus the suppression of the truth. So if you want to know who's on which side, it's really, really simple when you boil it down to that. But stop thinking in terms of one individual versus the other and what this person's about and what this person, like, it's not about them. It's never been about them, ever. They're just part of this whole thing. So, and by the way, you'll also notice that the bot farms have been programmed to jump on this as well. That's why you'll get hundreds of comments in these posts about the candy cult or using all these different buzzwords and things when it comes to Candace. But then when it comes to Erica, you'll get the exact same thing from the other side of all the people saying the grieving widow and attacking this and attacking that. Like, these bots are now being programmed to go along with this. And it's all in an effort to confuse and distract every single person that is ultimately trying to get after the actual issue and question at hand, which, again, I'll say it again, is who killed Charlie and why. End of story. That's it. Because guess what? Once we get the answer to that, if we ever get the answer to that, it gives us the answer to pretty much everything else that's happening right now. So anyway, take that for what it's worth. I have a video that's about to drop that I'll be talking about what Candace revealed, but I'll be including some receipts. That will drop on Instagram and Twitter. And again, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much for all of it. I genuinely am grateful for you guys. And I will continue to do my best to report the truth and bring awareness to the things that are going on. And, you know, I genuinely try to do my best in doing that. And I hope all of you guys can see that. So, and I will definitely do more streams. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. And also, if any of you are watching this right now and you are a volunteer at Turning Point or somebody connected there, and you can answer any of the questions that were raised today, including the one about the SOPs with events and volunteers and the media, please reach out to me. And if you're not, and if you just are someone who thinks you can add something to this investigation in the search for truth, also reach out to me and I'd be happy to talk to you. But also know, that if you are a Mitch and you are just trying to take advantage of this and build a platform off of it and make it even harder to get to the truth, I will cook your ass hard, just like I did Mitch, because I don't care what side you're on. I don't care who you think is who you like and who you don't like. I don't care if we agree on 90% of the things that you talk about. I don't care. I care about the truth and getting to the truth. And I will always expose anything and everything that is suppressing the truth. Period. End of story. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'll catch y'all later.